Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinobihari Mandir,
Jai Ho.
Gopinath Bhavan,
Jai
Shri
Ho.
Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupananda Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patik Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vinobihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Bol.
Radhe Radhe Taduni.
Can you see them close enough?
I
Or should we move everything in closer?
No. Otherwise it'll be right in your face. It's more than usual.
Okay. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha, Vandeham Shri Guru, Shri Yutta Padakamalam.
Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale
Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktila Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtane Dinatarine Rupanugam Virudhapo Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gauri Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambhara Sambodhe Padam Jayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanugam Varayate Gaura Vibhava Bhume Swam Nirdishtham Sajanapriya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jaganathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namostute Dabda Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jayatam Suratopango Mama Mandam Matirgati Matsarvasvapadam Dojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyakrindaranya Kalpadrumada Shrimadranagara Simhasanastho Shri Shri Radha Srila Govinda Deva Krishnalibhi Sevyamano Smarami Shrimandra Sarasarambhi Vam Shivatattatastitaha Karshande Nusmare Goti Gokinatha Shriye Sunaha Vrindaye Tulasi Devyai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavaktai Namo Namaha Panchatattvaatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupasvarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Mudivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Shwadanam Sarvatma Sapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Nameva Kevalam Ro Nasti Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
I notice the light shines down on you in a funny way.
Radhe Radhe.
What are they doing?
Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe.
Are they doing that?
They're just kind of breaking the cage thing up there or stomping on it or something.
Then we'll have to call Sadhu Maharaj.
Yeah, but if we ask them not to, then we might stop. Sorry about that. Hare Krishna.
You could say cases coming down.
I know the sound. Radhe Radhe. Okay, so the first bhajan we will do. Gurudev, Boro Kripa Kori, Boro Manumaje,
Jai Ho.
Bhagumi Diachlo Stham.
Page 33 in this songbook. And very happily, Jiva Pavana Prabhu is with us. So if you keep scrolling down to the name Jiva Pavana Prabhu, you'll find that he posts all of the bhajans and kirtans that we're singing so we can all join in sweet kirtan together. So just keep scrolling down. And also he always adds very, very beautiful nectar here and there. So always search. Thank you, Jiva Pavana Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhu.
And all Vaishnavas present, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Ki Rupe Paivo Seva, page 45. Ki Rupe, K-I-R-U-P-E. Can you just turn off this one right here? That one.
Does that make it dark?
I don't know. It's softer. Is it better or worse?
I'm going to check. Anyways.
Okay.
I think that's a little better. Tomorrow. Okay.
Kirupe paivo seva muidora charo Shri Guru Vaishnava na hoino rama Kirupe
Seva
Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala.
Page 58.
And if you don't have the songbook, just search for the latest post by Jiva Pavana Prabhu. It's there in the comment section of the thread, and you can follow along with the bhajan, and especially the meaning of the bhajan. Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki
Jai.
I'm looking for something more specific to go around that. We still don't have those Sanskrit ones like Pashya, Shaki, Shuta, Anupam, Rupam. So I'm looking back. I know we have Saka. No. Sake Kalai Gorumudara. S-A-K-H-E K-A-L 340 340 No Italian devotees tonight? Hare Krishna.
Narayan Gurudev's picture right in the middle of the screen. Looking into it feels like he's so much present. Looking who has come, who is listening.
He is.
Which one?
I'm looking for a Krishna bhajan that's not too complicated, like Janama Safalatara, which is too complicated.
How about Hare Hare Govinda Hare?
I don't know it.
Me either.
So,
Jai Jaya Balava Raja Kumar.
Jaya Jaya Vallava Raja Kumar. What page is that? 340?
345.
By Srila Rupa Goswami?
By Srila Rupa Goswami. Alright, so let's say Shyam. It's like Monday, Giddy. That's the next page.
Yeah, but this one's by Rupa Goswami.
And that one is done by Govinda Das.
I don't know which Govinda Das.
So it starts Jaya Jaya Ballava, B-A-L-L-A-V-A. Jaya Jaya Ballava, Raja Kumar.
Krishna Kanhaiya Lal
Ki Jai.
I just found it interesting that in the bhajan Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande, on the very last verse it says Ayam Avilolata Yaja Sanatana. Then on this one glorifying Krishna, Kalita Sanatana. And then on the one glorifying Srimati Radhika, where he says Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Daite, the last line says Sanaka Sanatana. Something about Sanatana. Rupa Goswami keeps putting the word Sanatan in these. So, yes.
So should we do Radhe Jaya Jaya? No. Not that.
Kunkumakta Kanchanabja Garvahari Gaurava.
That reminds me of the cartoon.
Page 279. Beautiful glorification of Srimati Radhika by Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami.
It starts Kumkum Akta, so Kumakta.
All together. Gurudeva Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I believe it's page 5. Any particular tune?
Huh?
Any particular tune? No, I can't even think of it at the moment. Krishna
Krishna
Hare Krishna. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Nityanamine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim Yakripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times. The dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. In the same thousands of Dandava Pranam. And to the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Astottara Shri Srimad, I say Vishnupad. Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present, and future, including all of those who are present with us today, I offer you my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
So we will continue today with the speciality of the glories of Yoga Maya, entering into this beautiful treasure, the commentary of our Srila Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, one of his commentaries on Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita by Sri Sanatan Goswamipada. So first, before entering into this treasure, we will pray for it to reveal its mercy by calling out for the mercy of those who have presented it, our Gurudev and Sri Sanatan Goswamipada, in the words of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Vairaga Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatna Apayana Mam Anubhivshamandam Kripam Budirya Paraduk Duki Sanatana Swam Prabhum Ashrayami, begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages manifest within our hearts. So yesterday, we discovered something interesting, something fresh and something new. That not all Lakshmis are considered the same. Even in Vrindavan, although they're technically one, still they are many. Right? Chintamani prakara sadmasu kalpa vriksha lakshavriteshu surabhir abhipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasham Brahmasevyamaram Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasam Brahmasevyamaram. Millions and millions of Lakshmis. And they're all coming from the original Lakshmi, Sarva Lakshmi Mayi. Who is that? Srimati Radhika. So from her comes all of the different forms of Lakshmis. But in Vrindavan, in transcendental aprakat Vrindavan, or when that transcendental Vrindavan manifests in any earthly plane known as Bhoma Vrindavan, in any universe, although after Srimati Radhika, whose love and affection is the highest, her own manifestation as Chandravali. But if Krishna were to say to Radhika, Chandra, how would she react? So although she is her own manifestation, still she is the leader of the group opposite to Srimati Radhika. Which means there is infinite variety of rasa. So she would react in a very interesting way. If Krishna were to tell her, you look so beautiful like Chandra, before he would say like the moon, but just that much, then she would go into man. And then he would spend a lot of time trying to pacify her man. So although they are considered non-different in one way, yet there is so much difference, so much variety. And as these manifestations are expanded out infinitely, from one to the next, to the next, to the next, out further and further, we cannot say that it is all one and the same thing. There's infinite variety. So in this way, the Lakshmi of Narayan, who is always serving Srimad Narayan, is not considered the same as Chanchala Lakshmi, who comes to us in this world in the form of money, and who is transferred from hand to hand. And people try to use that money in their own enjoyment. So this Lakshmi, you cannot say, is the same as the consort of Srimad Narayan, but she's a manifestation, like a shadow, or Maya Lakshmi. For example, when Ravan kidnapped Sita, he could never kidnap the original Sita. She is the eternal consort of Sri Ram. How is it possible? He cannot. So he actually took Chaya Sita, or Maya Sita, with him. Because no demon can touch the eternal consort of the Lord. It's not possible. And when Brahma stole the calves and the cowherd boys, he could not touch the original eternal associates of the Lord. So what did he take? He took what he thought were the originals, but they were like Maya or Chaya, shadow versions, or reflected versions of those original cowherd boys and calves. In the same way, none of us can touch the original Lakshmi, but how she manifests in this world, sometimes she is called Maya Lakshmi. So that form of Lakshmi which comes to us that we also try to enjoy, which it should not be that way, but that is the way it is. This is called Maya Lakshmi. So our Gurudev was explaining that there is a difference. It would be wrong for us to assume that the original or the Lakshmi of Narayan is the same as the Maya Lakshmi of this world. And in the same way, it would be wrong to assume, because we just read this beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11, 14, 15, Natata me priyatama atmanyonir na shankara na cha sankarshano na shrir naivatma cha yata bhavan. So this is saying that no one is more dear to me, Uddhava. Krishna is telling Uddhava, no one is more dear to me than you. You are dear to me than my own soul. Naiva atma cha yata bhavan. You are dearer to me than my own soul. He's saying, no one is more dear to me. Not Brahma, not Shankar, not Sankarshan, not Shri, not Lakshmi. But Gurudev is explaining that this does not refer to every form of Lakshmi, because definitely the original or supreme Lakshmi, who is also Shri, Shriji, Srimati Radhika, we cannot say that Uddhava is more dear to Krishna than Srimati Radhika. Uddhava prays to become a particle of a blade of grass, to receive a particle of dust from her lotus feet upon his head. So Srila Gurudev is saying here, we must try to properly understand our Siddhanta, and that can only be done by remaining in the association of Vaishnavas. So we ended yesterday with speaking about this concept that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is telling us. If you want to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, if you want to understand transcendental subject matter, then you must take shelter of the pure devotees, because only by their mercy, only by their divine vision, which is actually the eyes of love, or the eyes which are smeared with prem, premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena, only by their undivided love and affection can they understand Krishna in truth. Can they understand the truth? So if we just read on our own, we can make so many misconstructions. We will misconstrue the real meaning. Krishna reserves the right to be known. And he can only be known through undivided love and affection. And if we try to cheat this way and that way, or try to capture the infinite by our own imagination, We cannot do so because our own imagination is made of mundane stuff. It is made of illusion. It is made of matter, subtle matter, but still it is material. So how can that material capture the divine? Only by the mercy of the divine can he be known. Therefore Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishta mataksmati jnanam apohanam cha vedashta sarvairaham eva vedya vedanta kridveda videva chaham. I am seated within everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishta. I am seated within everyone's heart. Mataksmatir jnanam. From me comes knowledge, remembrance, and also forgetfulness. And then he says, by all the Vedas I can be known. You can know me by all of the Vedas. Because he is the compiler of the Vedanta and he is the knower of the Vedas. So he says, you can know me by all of the Vedas. And so then we go and we try to study the Vedas. And then we realize, wait a second, the Vedas are not different than himself. So how can we understand him? Only by the mercy of his pure devotee. Therefore it is said, Jaha Bhagavata Para Vaishnavirastane. In the association of Vaishnavas, because they have captured Krishna within their heart by their love and affection. Tomar Hridoy Sada Govinda Vishnam. Krishna is residing there. Krishna himself feels that they are my life and soul. And because they have captured Krishna within their heart by their love and affection, then we say, O Vaishnava Thakur, Krishna se Tomar, Krishna is yours. Krishna dite paro, you can give Krishna. Tomara Shakati Ache, this is certainly within your power to give him because you possess him. And Krishna can only be possessed or controlled by pure, undivided love and devotion. That is how he can be possessed. And one who owns him, who possesses him, they can give Krishna. They can give Krishna. That is Sri Guru. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite. Guru makes Krishna appear in our hearts. So only by this process, otherwise we won't be able to understand anything. After studying Srimad Bhagavatam, maybe for many years, we might come up with the conclusion that apparently Krishna stayed in Dwarka longer, so apparently that's where he wants to be. Therefore, that is the supreme conception. If we don't understand it through the medium of the Vaishnavas, coming in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we might take that meaning. We can take so many different meanings. We will choose this and that based on our own material ideas, our own material desires. Someone who has a fighting nature, they'll be like, you know what? Yep, it's Nishringa Day for me. We'll take it like that. And someone else who likes Maryada, oh, wow, how gracious and grateful and wonderful and sweet Ram is, I'll go for Ram. Like it's some kind of choice or candy. I'll go this way, I'll go that way, I'll go this way. I will go this way because I like that now. But this is all based on my desire and my liking. What about what Krishna desires and what Krishna likes? That's bhakti. What is for his pleasure, his happiness? What is favorable for him, for his benefit? It's not about what I like. But we can forget that very easily. That is why if we come under the association of Vaishnavas, and I'm using the word under because anugatya is essential. Bhakti, devotion to the Lord, its main characteristic is that it is anugatya. It is under guidance of Vaishnava. As Rupa Goswami tells us in Upadeshamrita, Tishthan Braje tad anuragi jananugami. Residing in Braj under the guidance of a Braja Rasik Vaishnava, or an eternal associate of the Lord who is a true Brajavasi. This is called Raga Nuga Bhakti, to be under the guidance of a Ragatmika Bhakta, or associate of, or just Ragatmik, an associate of the Lord, in any of the rasas, but specifically coming in the line of Rupa Goswami, it is called Rupa Anuga, under the guidance of, or in the anugatya of, in the line of, following the moods, the line of thought, the line or the mood, the method of service to Radha and Krishna that Srila Rupa Goswami is engaged in eternally. This is called Rupa Anuga. Rupa Anuga. So our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaj established again and again and again that bhakti itself, its most important component is that it is under guidance, in anugatya, under the guidance of a Vaisnava. Then it can be considered bhakti. Otherwise, maybe not. It must be under guidance. And so yesterday we ended with this verse, Gopi bhartu padakamalayur das das anudasaha. The Mahaprabhu is saying, my only identity is that I am an eternal servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, the beloved of the gopis, or that particular gopi, Gopi bhartu. Which gopi? Of course, Srimati Radhika. So that is my identity. From that perspective, having that mood of being the das, anudas, the servant of the servant of the servant, from that position of deep humility, then we can take shelter of and serve the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Constantly, from that perspective. And that is also how we can access the mercy of the Lord. Because mercy is descending. It's not something that I can climb my way up to. There's two different paths. One is called the path of ascending. That is the Aroha Pantha, the ascending process. Ravan tried to do that by building a staircase to heaven. And then there's the Avaroha Pantha, the descending process. And our process, the process of devotion, which we are aspiring for, is the descending process. It means when we cry, when we try, like our Gurudev said, to try is bhakti. When we are making that intense endeavor, what is our endeavor for? To attract that mercy to come to us. It's like shooting, I'm trapped in an ocean and I'm lost and I'm all alone. Except I have something with me. I have a flare gun. You know those guns? You shoot and it sends a light up into the sky. See me, I'm here, I'm lost, I'm trapped, I'm alone, I'm cold. I need help. So that is our endeavor. Srila Guru Maharaj, he explained that the sound of the soul crying for mercy in separation from Krishna is the Mahamantra. That is the sound of the soul crying for mercy. So this is our part of it. Our hard endeavor is really simply the endeavor to cry for mercy. But mercy will descend when mercy chooses. We cannot force it. So that's why we must have enthusiasm. We must always maintain that burning hope. That burning hope is what calls that mercy, because it is burning bright. Any parent, they know when their child is doing well. Any teacher knows when their child is, or when the kid in school is making an endeavor. The rest of them might be shooting spitballs at one another. They might be listening to music, playing games and whatever. But anyone who's actually making an endeavor, they attract the attention of their parent or their teacher. In the same way, when any disciple is making a sincere endeavor, really making that endeavor, that I'm trying to take what you're giving me and I'm trying to apply it in my life, please be merciful to me. I'm completely devoid of any potency on my own, but I need your help. On my own, I have no strength. I have no good intelligence. Your mercy is everything to me. I'm dependent upon you. So I'm holding onto your feet or onto your little finger and I won't let go for anything. Please be merciful to me. Please give me your shelter. Please give me the wealth of Krishna Nam. Please awaken love and affection for Krishna in my heart. This is a factor of mercy, and that is descending. Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. That jiva who is extremely fortunate. Kon Bhagyavan. Kon means who? Bhagyavan means fortunate. Jiva. That's us. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai. By the mercy of, sometimes it is said Guru and Krishna, but really it is by the mercy of Krishna who is manifesting in the form of Guru Krishna. Prasade Pai. By their mercy, Bhakti Lata Bij. The seed or the essence of bhakti manifesting first in the form of Shraddha, actually manifesting in the way of awakening the desire within our hearts to serve, to love and serve Krishna. This is manifest. Bhakti Lata Bij, it means seed of the creeper of bhakti, is actually manifested first in the form or as Krishna Seva Vasana. Krishna Seva Vasana means the tendency or the inclination to serve Krishna. So this manifests in the association of devotees. And by that, we will be able to comprehend or ascertain spiritual subject matter. Prahlad Maharaj tells his father, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranya means gold, Kashipu means soft bed, means he liked to enjoy and become, his father was completely obsessed with wealth and enjoying beautiful women. Hiranyakashipu. This was the nature of the father of Prahlad Maharaj. His father Hiranyakashipu was a great, great demon. So Prahlad tells his father, Matirna Krishne Paratasvatova Mito Vipadyeta Grihavratanam Adanta Gobir Vishatam Tamishram Punak Punaschar Vitacharvananam. That person who is made a vow, literally, grihabrat, to remain saturated in worldly enjoyment, who is simply engaged in chewing that thing that they've already chewed again and again, not only in this life, but for trillions and trillions of lifetimes. They will not have the mati, the ability, the intelligence to be able to comprehend subjects of transcendence, transcendental subject matter, the concept of Krishna. Matir na Krishne Paratasvatova Mito Vipadyeta, who's just simply chewing on that thing they've already chewed before. So, in the association of Vaishnavas, in the association of pure devotees, then we start to take on their nature by their influence. In the association of materialists, in the association of non-devotees, in the association of mayavadis, aparadhis, in the association of atheists or anything else other than devotees, we will take on those sentiments. That's why Srila Gurudev and our Guru Varga have said association is the most important thing. If you take the association of devotees, then you will become devoted. If you take the association of non-devotees, then you will become non-devoted, or you will go away from devotion. So Mahaprabhu warned very carefully, avoid association of non-devotees, those who are lusty, those who are attached to lusty persons, those who are obsessed or absorbed in the material energy. This will be detrimental to your progress on the path of bhakti. And Rupa Goswami also mentioned the same thing twice in a row. In the second verse of Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita, and in the third verse. The second verse is telling everything which is unfavorable and actually detrimental for the development of bhakti. Atyahara, prayasha, prayasha, and so forth. Prajalpo, niyamagraha, janasanga. They're worldly minded persons associating with janasanga, means not devotees of the Lord. Then this is detrimental because our mindset will become like that. And then in the third verse, where Rupa Goswami is telling us everything that is favorable for bhakti. Utsaha, nishchaya, dharya, tat karma pravartana. Utsaha means enthusiasm. Nishchaya means firm determination. Dharya means patience. tat karma pravartana, doing those activities which are actually propelling us or pulling us or that are favorable for bhakti. And the last one says sato vrite, associating with sadhus, following in that line. But the one just before that says sangha tyaga. What is favorable for bhakti? Sangha tyaga. Rejecting the unfavorable is favorable for bhakti. So it's a double negative. So that's a positive negative. Sangha tyaga is favorable for bhakti. Rejection of the unfavorable is favorable for bhakti. So our Gurudev, our Guru Varga, our Shastras are very, very strong and clear on this point. If you want to progress on the path of bhakti, you must accept what is favorable for bhakti, anukulyasya sankalpa, and avoid what is unfavorable for bhakti, pratikulyasya varjanam. Then we can hope to progress. Otherwise, we will find that I'm not moving anywhere. And then we might try so much on the path of bhakti, but still we feel, oh, this process doesn't work because we have not really applied it fully. We've only accepted the good, but we haven't rejected the bad or the unfavorable. Then we end up going, oh, this doesn't really work. It doesn't work. But it's not that the process doesn't work, it's that I'm not really applying the process. I'm cheating myself or trying to cheat in the process. And as a result, then I don't find myself moving forward. And we have no one to blame but ourselves in this case. Sri Guru and Vaishnavas are trying to help us. So if we really apply ourselves and endeavor to be in Guru's association, Vaishnava association, Shastra's association, Thakurji's association, the Dham's association, Harinam's association, Sadhu Sangha, Nam, Kirtan, Bhagavat, Shravan, Mathurava, Srimurti, Shradhaya, Sevan. Yes, all of the association of those things that are favorable for us to move forward on the path of bhakti, then we can actually have hope to move forward on the path. But if we're not accepting those things that are favorable and actually accepting more or most of what is unfavorable, then why should we expect to move forward? Does that make sense? Why should we expect to be able to move forward if we're actually accepting 95% of what is unfavorable and only maybe 5% or less of what is favorable? Then we've got so much more pulling the other way. Then what will happen? We will feel exhausted. We've all heard that katha of that marriage party. So they were supposed to arrive at a certain place downriver by a certain time for the auspicious time of the wedding. And they were all taking bhang and ganja and everything else. Bhang is like a liquid form of concentrated ganja, maybe some hash, something, I don't know. They take it around holy time here. And so everyone was drinking this drink and they were taking ganja. And they all got on this boat. They went inside the boat and they were having so much fun, laughing and joking. And they told the boatmen to start rowing the boat. Yes, they had to be there at a certain time for the auspicious moment of the marriage. So those boatmen began rowing all night. They were rowing. And in the morning, all of this wedding party came up and they were finally rested and came out of their drugged stupor. They came out and they were like, hey, we haven't moved one bit. What have you been doing? And they said, we've been rowing so hard all night. They said, what are you talking about? Well, look at us. We're exhausted. We're sweating. We're completely finished. And then the wedding party realized, oh, we did not remove the anchor. The anchor means the boat was tied to the shore. We didn't untie that. So all of that energy went in, but they didn't move forward. In the same way, if we're not endeavoring to unbind ourselves from the attachments of things in this world, but we might be doing so much hard work going the other way, the rowing and all of that intense endeavor, then we will find, how come I haven't moved? But we will be tired. But who is to blame? So in the association of Vaishnavas, then we can have hope to have those bindings cut. Vidyate hridaya grantis chidyante sarva shanshaya kshiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishvare. With the sword of transcendental knowledge, that is Harikatha, coming from the lips of the pure Vaishnavas, that sword cuts at all of the knots in our heart. Hridaya grantis. This means the ropes, the knots in the heart. Really, the main one is lust, right? So, hridrogam ashvapahinotya chirena dhira. All of these knots which are binding us to this material world, the pure Vaishnava, the pure devotee or Sri Guru cuts at those ropes, those things which are binding us. And we're not only bound by one, we're bound by so many. So they begin cutting them one by one in the form of chastisement or harsh language, so many different kinds of instructions telling us, be careful, don't do that, it's not good for you, it's going to be detrimental for your bhakti. And if we submit to them, then we can have hope. So Gurudev here is saying, we must try to properly understand our Siddhanta, and that can only be done by remaining in the association of Vaishnavas. So we see here, okay, I'm just going to read the last thing. Anjali. So they were high as a kite, but still want an auspicious moment for a sanctified wedding. The desire and goal was there, but still tied to their habit. You can look at it like that. Yes, there's so many different things we can extract from that example, but our Gurudev would tell this story quite a lot, and I've heard it also before. This idea, if we're still, actually Gurudev warned us, he said it is a very critical time. That time when you have not yet experienced the higher taste, but maybe you have tried to give up the lower taste. That's a very critical time. But if we still are trying to maintain so many attachments in this world, and we're also, I'm going to use the term, making a pretense of positive endeavor. And I'm using the word pretense because we're not actually endeavoring to give up the other thing. Then this can actually create a kind of exhaustion. And many of us have experienced it, and that's why I'm telling it like this. After so many years, still we're bound and so attached to this material world. And when we really feel our pulse, what real bhakti have we developed? Are we really in love with Krishna? Have we really developed this mood that I will give anything, even if my heart is broken again and again? Ashlishyava paradatam pinashtumam adarshanam marmahatam karotuva yatatava vididhatu lampato matprananatastu sa evana paraha. That you can do whatever you like with me, O Krishna. You can break my heart, you can kick me away, you can embrace me or another in front of me. You can do whatever you like, but this will not change the nature of my love for you. My love will only increase more and more and more. Can we develop this kind of mood? Have we really given our hearts? Or is it only by word? So we can check ourselves, we can test ourselves. And this doesn't mean that we should be hopeless. It means that we should somehow endeavor to give up those things which are holding us back from the only hope of our soul, which is the nature of our soul, which is to love Krishna. So, okay. Devaki, she wrote, only to be understood through mercy of Sri Guru, otherwise beyond our limited mundane comprehension, and even then a bit beyond our comprehension. I like agrarian lifestyle, so Krishna for me, but maybe it is possible to dovetail this with bhakti eventually through purification by association of pure devotees. Srila Jiva Goswami explained that we, as conditioned souls, we are like some kind of clear crystal. Whatever color cloth you put that crystal over, it reflects that color. So if you put it over blue, it reflects blue. If you put it over red, it reflects red, green, yellow, whatever color. So whatever association we come in contact with we also reflect that mood and that association. That is why our Guru Varga have requested us and have instructed us that we should try to avoid unfavorable association. This doesn't mean don't go to the supermarket. This means don't take their moods and conceptions of those who have any mood which is not exclusively for the pleasure and the service of Krishna. We may have to associate in terms of working or anything like that. That doesn't mean association, but Gurudev explained it means associating by heart. And our Srila Prabhupada, he explained, if we have got the superior conception, then why should we compromise and take the lesser conception? If one has a superior conception, means the conception of Krishna and Krishna Bhakti as received from the pure devotee, then we should be giving association, not accepting. So many times in the name of mundane harmony, we develop this idea that, oh, we should give and take. Okay, so let's have a compromise settlement. I will accept what you are giving, and you can accept what I'm giving. But our process of bhakti is not like that. Maybe we can accept that they are where they need to be, but we should not accept the association which is detrimental to our bhakti. That is not humility. Humility means to be humble to Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. And that doesn't mean Vaishnavas who are compromising. Oh, come on, just take a little bit, it's okay. It's not going to make any difference. Just do this little bit of nonsense with me, then we can be friends and we can see eye to eye. It's okay, it's okay. Like a friend of mine who once told me, and he was a good friend, but he was telling me, love is never wrong. Oh, he was wrong. Beside the fact that love in this material world was not considered real love anywhere, it's lust, right? Atmendriya pratibhacha taribale kam. It is known as lust, the desire to satisfy one's own senses. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's fine. Does our Gurudev say that? Does Prabhupada say that? Do our Guru Varga say that? Does Mahaprabhu say that? Does Krishna say that? Does our Shastras say that? So Vaishnavas should always try to see through the eyes of Shastra. Otherwise, very easily, one of our senses which is not focused can easily drag the mind of anyone, even someone who is elevated, fully into the clutches of illusion. Krishna says in Bhagavatamrita. So we should, I'm using the word should, as aspiring devotees, be considerate and careful for all of these things if we truly want to progress. And we should know that we always have hope because the nature of the soul is to love and serve Krishna. And so we should just be aware of what is unfavorable, pratikul, what is unfavorable, and what is favorable for the development of bhakti. And then we can know to what extent we are avoiding the pratikul. How to avoid that? By accepting the favorable. Accept more and more and more of the favorable until we're so full of the favorable that we have no time for the unfavorable. And this was how our Guru Varga were so expert. Look at how Srila Prabhupada engaged the energy of his disciples. There was practically no time for anything else. There was no time. If there was any extra time left over, it was like to fall asleep. And then you wake up and Mangalarti, Japa, Book distribution, Prashadam, Kirtan, Harinam. It was constant. He had engaged everyone so fully that there was practically no time for the other stuff. Only when we leave the association or the guidance of the pure Vaishnava, then we have so much time for all sorts of other contemplations. All kinds of abhinivesh starts to creep in. That's called mayamaya, absorption in maya. Prabhupada explained, like if there's one hole in your boat, you have one of these little boats, put a hole in the boat, the water starts filling up. He said the moment we are not absorbed in Krishna, maya starts filling that space. So we should always be Krishnamoy, Prabhupada said, completely absorbed in Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. And by that, all perfection will be attained. And Krishna consciousness can always be had constantly in the association of Vaishnavas. I'm just going to read here. I'm so bound and without association. It's so difficult because sometimes the association of devotees had been difficult because of the manipulation from them to get something in the name of being a devotee. It is not easy for me to trust. I've been really amazed at the classes I'm hearing and seeing your devotion day after day. So, this is something in the first part here. The manipulation by devotees. Remember that tendency to cheat others and to manipulate and to use people is not the devotee. That is something else. That is the demonic nature within the individual. A devotee's nature is merciful, is simple, is straightforward, is honest, is not twisted and convoluted and manipulative. That those qualities you just mentioned are not the qualities of a devotee. What is the first quality mentioned? Kripalu, merciful. The devotee doesn't possess these other things, so that must be some other thing creeping up. And this is a lesson I had to learn very early in my, you can say my devotional, or my, I wouldn't say devotional, but in my life. As I was born in a family of devotees, I went through Gurukul, I experienced a lot of things in the name of bhakti, but realized, wait a second, Prabhupada didn't tell them to do this. The scripture doesn't tell them to do this. This is not devotional activity. Wait a second. That activity is not in line with Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, which means it is not devotion. So this is something that we must be able to do, hopefully, eventually, is to separate the baby from the bathwater, to separate the rice from the husk or the chaff, to separate the demonic things or what is not devotion from what is devotion. This is absolutely essential for us as aspiring devotees. If we do not engage discrimination, then we will fall for anything. One who does not stand for something will fall for anything. So it is essential that we engage the scruples that Krishna has given us according to Shastra and according to the words of Guru and Sadhu and Vaishnavas, to be able to discriminate as to what is favorable for our bhakti and what is unfavorable for our bhakti. If we don't engage it, then we will fall for anything. So if someone is manipulating for their own purpose, they're trying to use you for money, or use you for your body, for their own pleasure, or use you for whatever. I mean, we've seen it all in the name of bhakti. Somebody just posted something today, some astrologer guru guy who was really famous, who thousands and thousands of people are following. Now so many people are coming out and saying how abusive he was. He would just use them. He would manipulate them with astrology and this and that, and then use their bodies for his own pleasure. And then he would just dismiss them like they were nothing. And this is common. For every one real guru, you will find millions of persons who are pretending to be guru who have this nature. If we don't discriminate between the real one and those ones, then that is our own foolishness. Therefore, Shastra has given us so many qualifications for what is a real guru, a real Vaishnava. What are the qualities of the Vaishnava, and what are not Vaishnava qualities? And if we cannot discriminate, then we should pray to have that kind of discrimination so that we can accept the real thing. Otherwise, again and again and again and again, we will be cheated until we pray to Krishna, please give me the discrimination to be able to know what is favorable so that I can really develop love and affection for you. So I thank you for that. It's very essential and important. So now I'm going to continue reading This is an essential, important point. We must try to properly understand our Siddhanta, and that can only be done by remaining in the association of Vaishnavas. This doesn't mean remaining in the association of a Vaishnava who's trying to take advantage of you sexually or monetarily. That's not what it means. And some people tend to misconstrue it and make you think that that's what it means. They are lying, they are cheating, they are nonsense, and they are bogus. Don't fall for it. If someone is trying to use your body for their own enjoyment, this means they are pretending to be Krishna. This is Mayavad. Don't fall for it. Mahaprabhu rejects that. If someone is just trying to abuse you for your money, or for your family, or for this or for that, or manipulate you, this is not the Vaishnava association. And then they will tell you, don't see the fault in anyone else. Don't see it. And then you're there accepting all of these things blindly. This is not Vaishnava Dharma. This is Sahajya. Pakka Sahajya. It is against the flow of bhakti as we have received it from Krishna, from Mahaprabhu, from our gurus, from our shastras. So we have a responsibility to be somewhat discriminative for our own spiritual well-beings. It is essential if we want to make progress. It doesn't mean we need to meditate on the faults of others, but our Gurudev, our Guru Varga all have explained, if something is unfavorable for our bhakti, then we should discriminate enough to at least keep a respectful distance. Okay, you can do what you want, but I'm going to follow what is favorable for the development of my bhakti. Everyone's where they need to be. Everyone needs to learn the lessons they need to learn. And yet, if we can help each other to be able to discriminate, to have some vivek, some understanding of what is right or favorable and what is not, then we can have hope to be able to progress. Otherwise, it's very easy to be cheated. So, Srila Gurudev is explaining more about this verse. Oh, interesting. Gurudev is going to be talking about this subject right here. So that verse he was talking about previously, about that Krishna is telling Uddhava, you are dearer to me than my own soul. More than my own soul. And even more dear to me than Shri. So Gurudev is explaining this does not mean Srimati Radhika. Then this would be a misunderstanding. This verse refers to the Lakshmi that bestows mystic perfections, who gave opulence to Brahma and the demigod, and the demigods, and who appeared from the churning of the ocean. So Chanchala Lakshmi. So Gurudev ends this paragraph with, if anyone aspires for the affectionate sidelong glance from the source of all incarnations, Sri Krishna, and his dearest, Srimati Radhika, I think I might have missed something. Let me just read the part more quickly. So this verse refers to the Lakshmi that bestows mystic perfections, who gave opulence to Brahma and the demigods, and who appeared from the churning of the ocean. What to speak of older devotees, even new devotees are superior to her. Devotees, liberated souls, and those who desire liberation. These three types of people don't worship that goddess of wealth, Chanchala Lakshmi. Gurudev, as I told you, he said, she should stay far away. This verse is not referring to that Lakshmi who is constantly situated at Bhagavan's chest, massaging his feet and serving him. That Mahalakshmi is steady, not restless, and is very dear to Bhagavan. No devotee will ever be indifferent toward her. But if anyone aspires for the affectionate sidelong glance from the source of all incarnations, Sri Krishna, and his dearest, Srimati Radhika, then they will simply respect this Mahalakshmi but not beg for her mercy. So they will respect Lakshmi of Lakshmi Narayan, Mahalakshmi, but not beg for her mercy. They will beg for the mercy directly from the source of all Lakshmis, Srimati Radhika herself. And this is also proven in Sri Manashiksha by Raghunath Das Goswami, who is our Prayojan Acharya, the Acharya who teaches us about our goal. This is proven by him. He says that even this meditation on Lakshmi Narayan, Lakshmi Pati Vyomanayanim, this also I won't do. In his one-pointed mood for receiving the mercy of Srimati Radhika, in that Braja mood, then also this he's keeping at a far distance. Hare Krishna.
Hello?
Sorry. Okay, maybe they won't be able to call now. So, why is that? Because, as Srila Gurudev previously spoke, if you want pure bhakti, you cannot be multi-pointed. It is detrimental to the development of your bhakti. You must have a one-pointed move to one particular Ishtadev. That means it has to go either toward Krishna or Radha Krishna or Ram or Narayan, but you can't have all. If you try to do all at the same time, this is actually extremely unfavorable for the development of bhakti. So Raghunath Das Goswami is teaching us about one-pointed ekantika, means exclusive bhakti. Even he says to Srimati Radhika, how exclusive is his bhakti? Sakyayate namanamostu namostu nityam. Again and again I'm offering pranam to the position as one of your sakhis. That I can be like Lalita Vishaka, Champaklata, all of those gopis who are meeting with Krishna personally. But even this I don't want. As our Gurudev would say, he was paraphrasing Raghunath Das Goswami, I don't want this lesser thing. What do I want? The only taste I have. The only rasa I am focused on. Dasyayate mama rasostu satyam. Is to be your dasi, your maidservant. So how exclusive is our Prayojan Acharya, the Guru, the Acharya who's teaching us about our goal? How exclusive is he showing us? Must be our path. So exclusive, so one-pointed, that there's no room, no wiggle room. We must be extremely refined in our hope, in our aspiration. So in this case also, Gurudev is saying, we will respect Mahalakshmi, but not beg for her mercy. Those persons who are aspiring for the lotus feet and the glance of Sri Radha and Krishna and Vrindavan, they will beg for mercy directly from Srimati Radhika herself. This is not to be considered disrespect. Some people will try to make you think, oh, this is disrespectful. It's not to be considered disrespect. There's no place for disrespecting any Vaishnava. A Vaishnava who is Rasik and Tattvagya, conversant with the science of Krishna, and Rasik means full of ras, full of nectar. They should always be respected. But that does not mean that the remainder of Vaishnavas should be disrespected. That will be an offense or aparad. But we should be especially careful to commit no offense at the feet of Krishna's exclusive Rasik Tattvagya Vaishnava. And with our hearts, we will always aspire to serve him. So in this case, there is exclusivity. If we see that there's any Vaishnava who is exclusively 100% engaged in the service of Krishna, that means for not one moment are they engaged in any other activity other than the service of Krishna, that's exclusive, then we should be especially careful not to commit any offense to them. if they're exclusive, rasik, tatvagya, then in our hearts we should always aspire to serve them. And this is mentioned in the 5th verse of Upadeshamrita. Shrushrushaya bhajana vidyam ananyamanya nindadi shunyam hridamit sita sangalabdya. That person who has this kind of nature, who is completely devoid of the tendency to criticize others, who is completely absorbed in serving Krishna 24 hours a day without cessation, with no mayak anything, no nonsense, completely absorbed, then for that person we should surrender our everything at their lotus feet, take shelter of them, learn from them, receive mercy from them. So Gurudev here is actually giving some reference. We should not disrespect any Vaishnava. All Vaishnavas should be respected for where they're at and according to their level. But it doesn't mean that we must take association from every Vaishnava either. Not all of Vaishnavism, you can say, is essential or favorable for the development of the mood that we need. So respect can be there, but we should not absorb everything. Otherwise, we can be derailed from our one-pointedness. If we accept on the same level what our Gurudev and Rupa Goswami are telling us about exclusivity to Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, if we accept on the same level with equal value what those in Sri Sampradaya are saying about exclusivity to Lakshmi Narayan, then we will have 2 feet in 2 boats, and we won't be able to progress properly on the path of exclusive devotion. So yes, we honor all of the Sampradayas and we honor all Vaishnavas. Charo Sampradaya ki jai, Charo Acharya ki jai. These 4 Sampradayas we honor, we respect, we worship. They're Vaishnavas. But it doesn't mean that their conceptions are necessarily favorable for our personal development of bhakti. So we give... Or for our Guru Nishta. So we give respect, we give honor, but it does not mean that we absorb that association. Does that make sense? Otherwise, we cannot be said to be exclusive devotees. So Gurudev is saying there's no harm. It's not considered disrespect. There's no place for disrespecting Vaishnavas. All Vaishnavas should be respected. But that doesn't mean that the remainder of other Vaishnavas should be disrespected. That will be an offense or aparad. So disrespect is something different. And sometimes some people try to make it seem that if we don't give equal preference to all, that we are then being disrespectful or aparadhis. But Rupa Goswami begs to differ on this point. Yes, with the 5th verse of Upadeshamrita, which our Gurudev is just coming to. Suppose there is a festival going on, and hundreds of devotees are there, including Uttama Adhikari devotees. That means the highest level. Uttama means the highest. Those with the highest qualification, Vaishnavas. Madhyam Adhikari Vaishnavas. Madhyam means middle. Middle qualification Vaishnavas. And Kanishta Adhikari Vaishnavas. That is beneath Uttam and beneath Madhyam, Kanishta. Means they're not very strong yet. They don't know how to honor other Vaishnavas properly. They have faith in Gurudev, faith in Thakurji, but they don't understand everything properly yet. If amongst them there is an exclusive Raganuga or even Rupanuga Vaishnava, so if amongst all of these personalities there is an exclusive, that means one-pointed, exclusive, that word means something. Raganuga or even Rupanuga. So Raganuga means in any of the rasas, either pure Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya or Madhurya in Vrindavan, Raganuga, or in Rupanuga is very specific, means aspiring for or following in the guidance of or in the line of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika under Sri Rupa Manjari. If amongst them there is an exclusive Raganuga or even Rupanuga Vaishnava, then we shall give more respect to them. But we will have to give it with cleverness. Otherwise, ordinary people will think that they can be indifferent to Kanishta Adhikari and Madhyam Adhikari devotees. So this is not duplicity either. This is cleverness, especially from those who are senior Vaishnavas. They are always teaching by their own example. So they don't want to encourage us to make aparad to Madhyam Vaishnavas and Kanishta Vaishnavas. So they won't just give exclusive focus there and reject everyone else. If you're in that assembly, you will give respect to all Vaishnavas according to their levels. We will have to give it with cleverness. Otherwise, ordinary people will think that they can be indifferent to Kanishta Adhikari and Madhyam Adhikari devotees. On 3 levels, we shall accordingly offer respect, but with some cleverness. Appropriate respect must be shown to all, in gradation. So appropriate respect means according to one's adhikar, according to one's level of devotion. Appropriate respect must be given in gradation, just as Rupa Goswami has written in the 5th verse of Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita, Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta dikshashti chet pranatibhishcha bhajantamisham shrushrushaya bhajanavigyamananyamanya nindadi shunyam hridamit sitasanga labdhya. So this verse is telling that one should respect Vaishnavas according to their respective levels or gradation of depth of devotion to the Lord. The first line says, Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. Anyone who just once chants the name of Krishna, they should be given respect in their mind. Manasa adriyeta. Some honor, respect. Oh, you're chanting the name of Krishna, so I'm giving honor and respect within the mind. But who has actually decided to make an honest progress on the path of devotion? Diksha Ashti Chet, who has received Diksha, then we should give Dandavat Pranam. We should actually offer obeisance to them. Oh, Dandavat Pranam. You have made this resolution in your life that you are going to endeavor to progress on the path of bhakti. And you are also chanting the name of Krishna. So one is in the mind, the other one's with pranam. Pranatibhish, Chabhajantamisham, and who is also doing bhajan, who is following the aspects, the instructions of Sri Guru, and who is doing those activities which are favorable for progressing on the path of bhakti. That is Madhyam Adhikari Vaishnava. And then Shrushrushaya Bhajan Vigyam Ananyam Anya. Ananyam Anya means exclusive, one-pointed devotion, who has no tendency to criticize anyone else, who is completely saturated with Bhakti Ras, who is well-versed in all knowledge, who is completely surrendered, who is doing bhajan. Bhajan means 24 hours a day remembering the sweet pastimes of Krishna, always taking shelter of Harinam. So this is Uttam Adhikari Vaishnava. For them, you should offer your very life and soul at their lotus feet. And Uttam Vaishnava should be served with love. Being an exclusive devotee, he never criticizes anyone. We also see this in Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm trying to remember which verse, maybe the 3rd verse. Nigamakalpataror kalikampalam shukamakatam. No, the one just before it. Dharma projitakaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. Those who are nirmatsar, who have no envy, who have no tendency to criticize others, they will appreciate this Srimad Bhagavatam. So here, he never criticizes anyone. Whether he obtains happiness or unhappiness, he remains satisfied. There's a beautiful bhajan. In service to you, my Lord, happiness and suffering are the same thing. Why? Because they understand that this is a result of my karma. If I have to suffer so that I'm able to please you, then let it be. If happiness comes, then let it be. But they're not disturbed by these things. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, what is that verse? One should learn to tolerate the dualities without being disturbed. I can't remember it at the moment. But happiness and suffering come like the winter and summer seasons. They come naturally in accordance with nature and karma. But one who is intelligent should learn to tolerate these dualities without being disturbed. So happiness is coming, suffering is coming, but they are always satisfied. Why? Because they're serving Krishna. He serves Krishna exclusively by the topmost, radiant, devotional, mellow. Topmost, unata, radiant, ujjvala. Devotional mellow, rasa. Unato ujjvala rasa. I'm just going to add a little something here. That is actually specifically, Unato ujjvala rasang is specifically the bhav of Srimati Radhika for Krishna. So, the beauty of that bhav is called Svabhakti Shriyam. The beauty of that is manifested in this world, especially in the, not even in this world, but transcendentally, in the mood of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika, that is Svabhakti Shriyam. So he's serving in this topmost radiant devotional mellow. So toward that personality, we will have a special sentiment, but we will not disrespect anyone. One devotee we will criticize, another we will disobey, another we will disrespect. Saving ourselves from this mentality, we should give appropriate respect to all and serve the advanced Rasik Vaisnava with love. So one devotee, Gurudeva is saying, we should save ourselves from this mentality that I will criticize this one, I will disobey this one, I will disrespect that one. And we can all check our own pulses, our own hearts, and see to what degree we have this nature. We should give appropriate respect to all and serve the advanced Rasik Vaishnava with love. So we can see, okay, so many are chanting Hare Krishna, but they may have so many different problems, but at least we should give honor and respect within the mind that they are chanting Hare Krishna. Those who have accepted Diksha and who are progressing on the path of bhajan, then we can offer our Dandava Pranam to them, obeisance to them. And the Uttam Vaishnava, especially that Uttam who's in the mood that we are aspiring for, who's increasing our faith in our Gurudev, who's giving bhajan shiksha, then we can submit ourselves at their feet. They are completely free from the tendency to criticize anyone, and they're exclusively saturated in Krishna Bhakti Rasa, Unatojvala Rasa. So saving ourselves from this mentality, we should give appropriate respect to all and serve the advanced Rasika Vaishnava with love. So the next paragraph is going back to the subject of Yogamaya, so we will stop here.
I have one question.
Yes.
There are a lot of Vaishnavas that speak very Rasik. And you're saying the Rasik Vaishnavas, and I'm questioning, how do we understand who is really Rasik if we're supposed to honor them for that? If anyone can speak a very high topic, many people just call that Rasik. If people weep when they're speaking that topic, they consider that a sign. But I know Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur saw people weeping and crying and said that it was false. So how do we detect what is real in Rasik and what is Madhyam and Kanishta? Or should that topic be spoken of tomorrow?
I'll mention it quickly. Really, when it comes down to it, as I mentioned before, for every million fakes, there's one real. If even that. I'm talking about those who are taking the position of Guru, claiming that I am Sri Guru. Today they posted something from Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj, and he was really speaking very deeply about the qualification for Guru. Really, what is it? Someone who is so advanced that their love has permanently bound them to the lotus feet of Krishna. And from that Bhakti Lata, which has bound to the lotus feet of Krishna, has developed fruits of prema. And when one has tasted so many that they're saturated and they have so many left, so many more fruits there, the natural tendency within their hearts is to give those fruits of prema to others. This is his conception of what is qualification for Guru. It's not a cheap thing. Guru means the heaviest thing. So, really when it comes down to it, because we are conditioned souls, we have the tendency to make mistakes, to be illusioned, to have imperfect senses, and to cheat ourselves and others. It means to be cheated as well. So really when it comes down to it, how can we know? It's almost impossible unless we are sincere. Sincerity Srila Prabhupada actually said that. Sincerity is the key. How do we detect what is real and what is not? The calling from our heart must be so sincere, must be so disappointed, having this real understanding that I'm done with all of this cheating. I have just been smashed again and again and again and again for millions of lifetimes. Even in this lifetime, how many times, how many people do I know who have accepted 4 and 5 gurus who have fallen down? And finally they're like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. And they began crying and praying from the core of their heart to Krishna, please help me. Please send me your own person. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I need your help. Please send me your own pure devotee. Srila Gurudeva Maharaja is explaining how one can call that kind of transcendental personality into their life. He said that is our side, our responsibility, to weep for mercy, to cry and pray from the core of our heart. The rest is up to Krishna. That is the only foolproof way. And even then, we might have some cheatingness in our heart. And if we have some other cheatingness, then Srila Gurudeva Maharaj said, we might call into our lives a cheater instead of a teacher. But that doesn't mean that the process doesn't work. It means our process. It means how we are doing it might not really be sincere. So to cry from the core of our heart, to pray from the core of our heart, and to beg Krishna for his mercy, then we can have hope of attaining that pure association. And that's not just a one-time thing. It's a constant mood of the heart should be like that. So that Diksha Guru and Shiksha Gurus will manifest in our life. Guru is Guru, Diksha and Shiksha. So that same process, I'm burning in this material world. Sangsara Dabana Lalidhaloka. Our Gurudev said it is an ocean of fire, like an oil fire, more hot than a forest fire, burning and burning. At that time we will cry out for mercy. I'm dependent on your mercy. I have no other hope. Please help me. Only by this process, because there are so many, Gurudev even said that there are so many Mayavadis. Means those persons who are impersonalists, who are actually against bhakti, who can speak Bhagavatam and the pastimes of Krishna so beautifully that thousands of people in the audience will be melting with tears and crying and feeling so much. And in the end, then they will say, it's all one, and it's all nothing. So, and he said for every shlok you can tell, they will tell 100 shloks, and then for each of those shloks they will tell another 100. So you should be very careful. But how can we be careful when we don't know? So one, to be very carefully under the guidance of Guru and Vaishnavas and Shastra. Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. We have a system of checks and balances. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. They must complement and confirm one another. And then, also, the most important thing, our own heart's sincerity. By that, hopefully, we will be able to receive in our life the real deal who can actually truly help us. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Sri Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. I just wanted to add one thing what Sudevi said. just because someone can speak Krishna's pastimes very beautifully and weep while they're doing so, this does not mean that they are actually rasik and bhavuk. It's easy to pretend and to fake. So many do it. They're called professional speakers.
Also the kirtans.
Same with the kirtans. Before I was telling you, people are singing the kirtans and they have a way, especially in Bengal. It's just, right? Just like that. I swear to God, I have recordings of it. And our Guru Varga would be like, "Ha! Stop that. Stop that nonsense. All that faking." Our Guru Varga does not like it. So many are expert. So many know so many things and they can fake it. But one can only fake it for so long. All of our Guru Varga say, eventually those who are pretending and faking, that thing will come out and will be seen publicly. So for us, really, it's not for us, we can't even judge properly. We have to pray from within the core of our heart to Krishna, to Paramatma, and to our Gurudev, to our Guru Varga. Please help me. Vande Rupa Sanatano, Raghujugo, Sri Jiva Gopalako. Please, my Goswamis, help me. Please, my Guru Varga, help me. Please, Gurudev. Please, Prabhupada. Please, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. Please be merciful to me. Praying for that mercy. Then we can have hope of receiving in our life. Maybe I don't even have the capacity to detect properly, but to receive that kind of association that is pure, that is beneficial, and that won't disappoint us. As Krishna said, he will reveal himself. Oh, Prahlad told Hiranyakashipu that he will reveal himself. And Hiranyakashipu said, reveal himself to me, Hiranyakashipu. But Prahlad said, he will reveal himself. So Krishna, he will reveal himself to us in the form of Sri Guru, in the form of that necessary Vaishnava association. And he will give us the understanding through them by which we can come to him. He will direct the wandering of these jivas who are sincere to connect with him. So sincerity is the key. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Now it's a little late.
What?
Someone said Bhairavi Rag.
You have to go slow.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna,
Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Shri Vrindavan Hare Lal ki Jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shyam Gaur Premanande Hari. So thank you all very much for participating with us today and for giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and for engaging us in our Guru Seva. Please forgive me if anything I said pinched anyone today. So many things that I need to remember and I need to take lessons from. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Hare
Shri Radha
Krishna.
Minu Bihari Ju ki
Jai.
Jai.